afternoon, and welcome to the Hamer Hall Natatorium for today's NCAA meet between the California Vulcans, the Bethany Bison, the Frostburg State Mountain Cats, or Bobcats rather, and your California Vulcans. I'm Gary Smith, and happy to be bringing you today's event. Got a pretty quick start here with the first relay starting right away. We are in the middle of the women's 200-yard freestyle relay. This is heat 1 of 2. Lane 2 at the top of the screen, Frostburg's team. Then Frostburg's second team is in the middle, and Salem is in lane 4. For Frostburg, Alexis Ramsey, Brianna Nato, Amanda Sukik, and Gabrielle Betancourt. For Frostburg in the middle lane, Natasha Pasillo, Reagan Chase, Jamie Meadows, and Kay Berman. And for Salem in the near lanes, Jojo DeSalvo, Delaney Woodward, Abigail Hopkins, and Emily Powers. And again, I'd like to thank everybody watching on the PSAC network, CTV Sports 1, and CUTV Cable, as we have our third set of swimmers in the pool. In the lead in lane 3 is the relay team for Frostburg State. About a body and a half lead as the next swimmer. So Frostburg will be in lanes in first and second place with a healthy lead. And again, this is heat 1 of 2. This heat has 3 teams, and then the next heat will have 6 lanes full, and a couple California athletes right now will be in the next one. But it's a good weekend of swimming here in the Hamer Hall Natatorium. We're just doing some camera changes here. Is a little bit different inside the pool than outside, but as you saw, lane 3 in first place, Frostburg with a time of 1:46. Second place was Frostburg's other relay team at 1:50, and then Salem with a third place finish, about 31 seconds behind. Just a little bit of note, the clock you see on the screen is not an official timer. It is just for kind of have an idea of where swimmers are and what part of the race they're in. See fans and parents and friends at home what the pace is. So yeah, we don't get to see a lot of swimming here on CUTV, but when we do, we are happy to bring it to you as we're getting set for the second of 2 finals. Lane 1, California. Lane 2, Salem. Lane 3, California. Lane 4, Frostburg. Lane 5, California. And Lane 6, Bethany. As the swimmers are getting ready for the second of 2 heats. Our good friend from the Cal Times, Ashlyn Hornick, will be leading off for the Cal team in lane 3. Emma Warner will be leading off for Cal in lane 1. Mackenzie Hamilton for Salem will be leading off for them in lane 2. Ashlyn Hornick in lane 3. For Frostburg, Kendall Hooper in lane 4. Then Cal, Emily Guffey in lane 5. And then Bethany, the Bison, will have Jordan Haslacker in lane 6. So this is a full pool event. Should see some good times as everybody's on the block. And as we've seen throughout history in swimming, the start is very important. And on the marks, and we're off. So everyone's in the pool. Good start. Looks like California's Ashlyn Hornick has a little bit of a lead in lane 3. And California and Frostburg in a dead heat in lanes 3 and 4. Looks like Hornick will extend the lead just a little bit. Coming up in lane 2 will be the Salem swimmer. So, and it looks like Salem will have a slight lead, very negligible lead between Salem and California. So the second leg for California will now be Autumn Krisner, and she's trying to fight off Carrie Brooks for Salem and Genevieve Rapon. And looks like Salem has fallen off just a little bit. It's a battle between lanes 3 and 4. Pretty much a dead heat right now. We'll see who takes. And there's pretty much a dead heat, 7/10, actually 4/10 of a second between the two. So on this third exchange. Lane 4 is now in the lead. Lydia Naballo. She's having a strong lead here, extending to about a half a length lead over California's Carly Glasser. But Glasser trying to do hard work getting in, but Frostburg extending their lead as we have the final relays right now. But it is in lane 4, Madison Hooper for the Bobcats of Frostburg State. She makes a turn, but now a big turn for the swimmer for California, Gabby Miller. Miller making up and then some. This is going to be close. Gabby Miller coming to the wall, and I think she will get there by a split second, and she will. Gabby Miller with a team of 131.18. She swam a 23.78. If I'm reading this wrong, I may be reading it incorrectly. We don't get to see the Hamer Hall Natatorium scoreboard that often. So California in lane 3 finished first. Frostburg in lane 4 finished second. Salem in lane 2 finished third. California's team in lane 5 finished fourth. California's other team finished in fifth in lane 1, and Bethany with a sixth place finish. As now we're going to get into the next event as the cool down is happening, but a great final leg there by Gabby Miller, making up a lot of time on the anchor leg there to give California the win. As we're going to stop our clock and reset, we're now getting set for the men's 200-yard freestyle relay. This will consist of only Frostburg and Salem, as California does not have a men's team. So how this works is the teams will be competing, of course, against one another, but also looking for qualifying times, NCAA times, conference qualifying times. So as I'm going to adjust something on the cameras here, where again we're just trying to figure out the best settings here in the pool. But in lane 3 of this heat, Frostburg, Dylan King had a great start. Now the second member of the relay team, Mikel LeBlanc, way out in front right now. Below him in lane 4, Salem's Mitchell Griffin. And above him in lane 2, Frostburg's Dylan Della Vega will be fighting for second. But Frostburg in lane 3, taking a huge lead right now, is Josh Horner. Will be making the turn. And he has a sizable lead, so it looks like, barring something insane happening, it looks like the third lane of Frostburg will get the win in this. The anchor leg will be P.J. Emmerich, and he has an unofficially about a 3.5-second lead over the field. So you have the anchors. Coming on strong in lane 4 is Veer Kassan of Salem. Lane 2, P.J. Emmerich. But it is going to be all Frostburg in this heat in lane 3. The Frostburg team in a time of about 1:22.54 will get the win. So Frostburg with a very, very quick win right there. So lane 3 of Frostburg gets first place. Lane 2, Frostburg gets second place. Lane 5, Frost. So Frostburg sweeps. And then in lane 4, Salem will take up the fourth place. As we're getting set for the next event, it moves quickly here. It's going to be the women's 400 individual medley, one of two. This event, or this heat, we have 3 swimmers. Lane 2, Emily Green of California. Lane 3 of California, listen to me, Emma Warner. And in lane 4, Julianne Hump of Bethany. The qualifying mark for the PSAC is 4 minutes, 59 seconds, and 24 tenths. Not sure what the PAC qualifying time is, so for more information on the other conferences represented, go to their respective websites. But again, waiting for the start. You have California's in the top 2 lanes, and then Bethany in lane 4. And we're off. Again, this is about a 5-minute race. And making the first turn in the lead in lane 2 is Emily Green of California. Trying to extend just a little bit. Again, a nice crowd here on a very cold afternoon. If you're in the area and watching this live, come on down to the Hamer Hall Natatorium, where it's a balmy 75 degrees and humid, so you will definitely warm up a little bit. But in lane 2, extending her lead just a little bit is Emily Green. And she will make the turn, and she's lengthening her lead. Puts her head down. It looks like in second place will be Julia Hump and Emma Warner for California, about neck and neck, although it looks like the Bethany swimmer is pulling ahead just a little bit, but both of them are just looking to try and keep up with Emily Green as she makes the turn right now. About a minute 15, as I forgot to start the clock, so that is on me. I apologize to everybody at home, so I will try and get the times going here. But now in the backstroke, slowing down just a little bit. But Emily Green in control for California. In second place, it is Bethany, and in third place, Emma Warner of California. But Emily Green just gliding through. Pace slowing down a little bit with the backstroke leg of this, and it looks like Julian Hump is making up a little bit of ground on Emily Green as Emily makes the turn at about 2:02. That leg was about 45 seconds. Continuing on with the backstroke, and again, it looks like the Bethany swimmer is making up a little bit of ground as they come through to the next turn of the event. Good strong kick by Bethany, who's getting close to the lane marker, trying to get a little bit of draft out of the lane next to her. Looks like Green for California still has about a half a body length lead, but Hump really starting to close into this on this strong backstroke leg, as it's a virtual tie right now as they go to the next discipline, and they will pop up virtually the same time out of water. It looks like Green still has a little bit of a lead. So it's California in lane 2 in first, Bethany in lane 4 in second, and California in lane 3 in third place. Neck and neck as they go to the far end of the pool. Now Bethany takes the lead. Julian Hump with a little bit of a lead, and that's the first time that Emily Green has not been the lead in this event, as we're coming across the 3-minute and 20-second marks, about roughly 2/3 the way through. Again, the qualifying mark for this event for the PSAC is 4 minutes 59 and 24. So they both touch, as it looks like it is lane 4, 49-24 on that leg, 49-35. So almost identical splits, but I have a feeling this one's going to come down to the wire. Is California going a little further behind. As it looks like Hump is going to extend her lead just a little bit as she comes closer to us. Both teams on the pool edge, cheering their teammates on, but Hump will take a lead. It's going to be about a body length league, but don't look now. Emma Warner in lane 3 slowly making up some time too for California as they go to the freestyle leg. We're about 4 minutes and 35 seconds. Going to need a strong finish, but we see Green in lane 3 making up some ground on her teammate, but Hump for Bethany ahead of the pack. She had a really, really effective backstroke leg of this relay, or excuse me, of this medley, and looks like she may be able to come through to the victories. We're at 5 minutes right now. So Julian Hump with the last turn here on this end of the pool before they finish. And once again, teammates Green and Warner of California doing battle. Green in the top lane in lane 2. Trying to hold it off, but Emma Warner right now making the turn, or trying to make the turn on her teammate. So it looks like Julian Hump of Bethany will get the win in this event. Although, as soon as I say that, both California swimmers turning on the jets, and it's going to be a close one between Green and Hump. It looks like it's going to be a virtual tie. First, second is Bethany's Julian Hump will win. She will get first place. Second place was lane 2 for California, Emily Green. But Emma Warner really doing a good job to close the gap. So a very, very exciting first of 2 in the 400-yard individual medley. I'd like to say hi to everybody watching home, especially our good friend and producer emeritus, J.R. Wheeler, and his super pup, Sally, checking to make sure the audio and the video are good. I'd like to thank our crew that is here today. Good friend Noah Mitchell just came into the arena, signing autographs and helping out John Sable. We'll just give him the title producer right now, so he got the memo that is nice and warm in here and much better than outside right now. Again, it is a blustery time of year here in Western Pennsylvania. So we're going to move on to heat 2 of 2 in this 400-yard individual medley. Once again, the time to look at for the PSAC, 4 minutes, 59 seconds, and 24. And I'm trying to find where on my sheet I'm not sure if everything is on here. As I'm checking right now on our sheets, we have, no, I sat down and we're good to go. Our clock will be a little bit behind, but I'll just give you an idea. We have 4 lanes, and top lane in lane 2 for California, Antonio Giorgetta. Lane 2 for Frostburg, Morgan Greenlee. Lane 4 for California, Audrey Weaver. And lane 5 for Frostburg, Alexis Ramsey. Once again, obviously California out of the PSAC. Frostburg swimming out of the MEC. The other 2 schools, Salem, I believe, is an independent D2 member, and Bethany is a member of D3 President's Athletic Conference. But in lane 2, on this first lane, Giorgetta of California with a lead. She's going to try and drop about a second and a half from her personal best this year to make the PSAC qualifying mark. So Giorgetta about a half a body lead. She'll reach and touch the bar in first place. So it'll be lane 2, lane 3, lane 4, and lane 5. So Giorgetta, Greenlee, Weaver, and Ramsey as they move to the backstroke leg of the event. Again, it's about 4 lengths of the pool for each leg of this. We saw in the last heat of this, the backstroke leg was pivotal as the Bethany swimmer made up a lot of ground. So we'll see if that holds for him here. But Giorgetta doing a good job making the turn, and if anything, extending her lead as we're over about 1:49 officially. Once again, the clock on your screen is unofficial, just out there to give an idea of what the pace is. And again, it goes in numeric order, lanes 2, 3, 4, and 5 in that order. Big turn at the end. And Giorgetta is really extending the lead right now. The Frostburg swimmer, Morgan Greeley, trying what she can to cut into this lead. And then a nice battle for third between Weaver and Ramsey of California and Frostburg, respectively. Giorgetta now having her lead cut into a little bit by Morgan Greenlee as they move to the next discipline. The next event on tap will be the men's 400. There will be only 2 competitors. It'll be Nate Canup and Elias Maurer. But in this one, California is still in the lead. Georgetta making the turn. Greenlee for Frostburg trying to pick up her pace a little bit, and is slowly starting to cut into that lead. But California will still have the lead going into the turn. And again, it goes right in numeric order, 2, 3, 4, and 5 in terms of lanes. But it looks like in lane 3, Audrey Weaver for California may be pulling away just slightly. As you can see on the on our camera shot, a nice battle for first there between Georgetta and Greenlee. Strong kick off the wall for Georgetta. Halfway through this event, a little over halfway through this event. We're at 3:45 officially on the Hamer Natatorium clock. And it looks like lanes 3 and 4 starting to make a little bit of a comeback on Georgetta as we move to the freestyle portion. And a big kick in lane 4 is Audrey Weaver starting to cut into second place's lead, Morgan Greenlee. And not out of it by any stretch is Alexis Ramsey. So this is a pretty tightly contested final here in the women's 400-yard individual. Georgetta now in the lead, but you have California and Frostburg fighting for second place. Greenlee for Frostburg and Weaver are going to touch at about the same exact time. And in fact, only about 0.2 of a second separated them on that leg, and the crowd starts to get into it. We need roundy gains here to bring this home, but California in an exciting finish here in this individual medley. Georgetta in lane 2 trying to bring this home for the Vulcans, and now in lane 4, Audrey Weaver trying to fight for second place. It will be Georgetta in lane 2, but who will finish second? It will be, right now they're showing lane 4 in second place, so California will get first and second as you have Georgetta and Weaver for California, and then Greenlee and Ramsey for Frostburg. So an exciting event there. And it looks like officially the time for the first place was 5:04:23. So nobody from this heat will make the PSAC qualifying mark, but a very entertaining event nonetheless. Again, these events move pretty quickly after the event. You get a little bit of a warm down, and then we go right into the next event, which will be the men's 400-yard individual medley. It'll be Nate Canup in lane 3 and Elias Maurer in lane 4. Canup of Frostburg and Maurer in representing the Salem Tigers. And I'm looking at my director, John Sape, and we're going to do everything we can to make sure he yells at me to start this clock, because I didn't do it last time, and I feel bad to the people at home. And if you're used to only watching swimming at big international events like the Olympics and U.S. trials, those are measured in meters, but in college it goes by yards. So just a little bit of housekeeping for people at home that may be only familiar with the international distances. So here we are for the men's 400. And we have a good start there. And as California does not have a men's program, I do not have written down what the qualifying mark is for this, although with both competitors in different conferences are going to be different either. So once again, if you want to find out all the marks, go to the respective websites, PSAC website, which is psacsports.org, or the MEC website, the PAC website, and for Salem, I would guess go to their website, as I believe they're still unaffiliated. In most sports, I'm not sure what their swimming affiliation is. But a very quick pace here for the men's 400. Lane 4's Elias Moore for Salem. And Canup in lane 3. It looks like Moore has about a half a body length, extending it just a little bit, churning the water here in the Hamer Natatorium. As they move to the backstroke length, a long time underwater for the Frostburg sprinter Canup. trying to bounce through the water. Nice smooth stroke for Moore as he makes the turn at the far side. Coming up next after this, we have the women's 500-yard freestyle, and there will be 3 finals of that. And then after that, the men's 500-yard freestyle, and there's one final of that, and then there will be a little bit of a break for the competitors and the event staff to switch over. Not a long break, but a break nonetheless, as we're coming up on the last turn of the backstroke leg of this event. Maurer now extending his lead ever so slightly. And again, a full weekend of action here for CUTV Sports as we're getting people back from the break and basketball season in full effect. So CUTV Sports will be in Greensburg tomorrow for the PSAC doubleheader between the California Vulcans and the Seton Hill Griffins. California women coming off an exciting 3-point win over Slippery Rock on Wednesday, and the men's team coming off an impressive dismantling of Slippery Rock on Wednesday night. So getting into that time of year where it's all conference play for the most part for the men and the women. Again, CUTV will have you covered with that. We will unfortunately not be here for day 2 of this event, as we will be in Greensburg, but the second day of this swim meet will be tomorrow starting at 11. So if you're listening to me and like what you see, come on down to the Hamer Hall Natatorium. Nice and warm down here. And extending the lead, still in first place, is Nate Canup of Frostburg. That's Nate Canup, not Nate Kurtz, who is hopefully down there shooting pictures and video for our good friend, Director of Athletic Communication, Matt Kiefer. And I do know Nate said that if any of the swimmers for California make an NCAA mark, he will jump in the pool or be pushed in the pool. As we go into the freestyle, and shot out of a cannon there is Canup, as he is just going through this pool like a knife through soft butter on this freestyle leg, extending this lead over Elias. So Canup, as he has 2 more turns to go, there's one. Looks like unless Maurer does something amazing, then it's going to be Frostburg State in first place with Nate Canup. Although Maurer now trying to pick up the pace a little bit, but I think it's going to be too little too late, as Nate Canup looks like he will come in around the 4:25 mark. And it will be Frostburg State in first place. And a great swim for him. So Frostburg will take the men's win here in event number 4. 4 of 18 events in this meet. And again, we're moving quickly into the next one. This will be a little bit of a longer triplet of finals. This will be the women's 500-yard freestyle. Once again, there are 3 finals. This will be heat number 1. There will be 3 competitors. In lane 2, Brenna Nato of Frostburg State. In lane 3, Taylor Emmerich. And in lane 4, Kira Barnes. As they're waiting for the go-ahead for the men's swimmers to leave the pool. And we got the ready to go. Again, 2 Frostburg and 1 Salem in this event. And not that it matters in this heat, but the PSAC qualifying mark is 5 minutes, 28 seconds, and 55. And since any of the 3 swimmers are from the PSAC, that number doesn't really matter too much, but at least to give an idea of what the pace is. Again, this will be about a 5-minute event here. And in the lead in lane 3 for Frostburg will be Taylor Emmerich. It looks like Barnes and Nato are in a dead heat for second place. And something to note in some of these longer events, you may have a swimmer go way out in front. So if you see the swimmers at the far end when they make the turn, they have the turn numbers to try and help the swimmers gauge, because sometimes you're either so far ahead or so far behind. It can get a little disorienting as we see Emmerich extending her lead. Barnes now going into second after a strong turn. And Nato in lane 2 in third place. That's the 5th turn right now for the athletes. The next final also will not feature any California swimmers, but Heat 3 will. So if you're only a California fan, you can go and get a little bit of a beverage away from your computer right now and come back in about 10 minutes for Heat 3 of 3, where you have 4 Vulcans in the pool. Right now, the Bobcat is in the lead. Taylor Emmerich just extending and extending as we're right at the 2-minute mark of this event. So coming up on around the halfway mark. Nice strong kick off the wall. Salem in third place, or in second place in lane 4, starting to make a statement that she might be there at the end in second place. Big turn at the top for Taylor Emmerich. And this is what I was saying a little bit earlier. Sometimes in these longer events you get the field spread out a little bit. So Emmerich at about the 2-minute and 37 mark will make the turn. Once again, just a point of reference, the PSAC qualifying time, 5:28.55. So expect this to come in somewhere in that neighborhood, maybe a little bit north of that time. 11th turn now for Emmerich. And in second place, starting to extend her lead in second place, will be Kiera Barnes from Salem International. Salem. Used to be Salem International, showing that I've been doing this an awfully long time. Before that, it was Salem Takeo. So if you had that on the bingo card today, then congratulations. You can see John Sape at Seton Hill tomorrow for a free candy bar during the game. So turn 13 now for Taylor Emmerich. She's slowly crawling up Brianna Natta, her teammate. She might catch her before the end of this and maybe lap her. But an almost full pool lead over the second place competitor, Kiera Barnes. Emmerich now made that turn at around 3:41. Well in control of this event. So barring something unforeseen, I would be willing to bet that Taylor Emmerich will be winning this. And again, in our camera shot right there, you can see a competitor. Looks like they're ahead, but that's actually her teammate, Brenda Nada, who is actually about a pool and a half length behind, is her teammate Taylor Emmerich starting to just assert dominance right now. As we see on the right side as the second place competitor, Kiera Barnes, makes the turn, but Taylor Emmerich just saying, this is my event today and there's nothing you can do about it. And I think she will catch her teammate, Brenda Nato, in lane 3. As the official's going to blow the air horn right now to signify the last turn, or to ward off sharks. We're not sure what. Again, we only get to do a few scant swim meets, so willing to bet that it's probably for the turn. And it looks like Emmerich will catch her teammate. But Taylor Emmerich, a very, very good swim here. About 5:15. So if she were in the PSAC, there's a good chance she would hit this qualifying mark for the conference. Would be very close. It looks like she will come in first place at about 5:24, but a great swim for Taylor Emmerich. The other two competitors coming into port now. Kiera Barnes will finish second for Salem. Very good swim for her. It'll be about 5:38. And then the final competitor, Brenna Nato from Frostburg, a little bit behind. A good swim, but I don't think there was anybody in that heat that was going to catch Taylor Emmerich, and was the third member of the trio. Will finish up at 6 minutes. So a good event. That was heat 1 of 3 here in the women's 500-yard freestyle. So the second final will have 4 competitors. In lane 2, Jordan Haslaker from Bethany. In lane 3, Jojo DeSalvo from Salem. In lane 4, Ariel Knopfschneider from Bethany. And in lane 5, Abigail Hopkins from Salem. And I apologize if some of these names are being butchered. We're fighting the fact we don't get to see a lot of swimming, bad eyesight, and very small text. So we will do our best. But again, this is a pleasure for us to bring this event to you at home. Fun fact about the air horns. I had to buy an air horn a few years ago and went through the local establishment to buy one. Didn't know where to get it. If you need an air horn, you actually at boating section. So boating section for the air horn. So, but this will be a electronic start here for the second final, and a good start for the competitors. Again, the qualifying mark, just for reference, in the PSAC, 5:28.55. Again, I'm not sure what the qualifying marks are for the other conferences. Again, Salem, I believe, is an independent D2 program. Frostburg is in the MEC, and Bethany is in the PAC. A couple local teams in the PAC, Waynesburg, W&J, I believe Carnegie Mellon, St. Vincent, Grove City, and maybe Westminster also part of the PSA or the PAC. A little slower pace here in the second final. Lanes 3 and 4 are vying for first place. Jojo DeSalvo and Ariel Knopfschneider. And it looks like lane 3, DeSalvo, will have a slight lead over Knopfschneider. Again, if you're a Vulcan swim fan, you're going to love the next final, as 4 of the 6 competitors are Vulcans. So lane 2, DeSalvo from Salem, still in first. Bethany in lane 4, slightly behind. And then in lane 2, Haslaker from Bethany is in third. And then Abigail Hopkins in lane 5, slightly behind her. So 2 groups of 2 here kind of fighting for position. Again, looking for conference qualifying marks, NCAA qualifying marks, also trying to get points for your team. DeSalvo may have got to that block just a little bit ahead of her pace of the last time. She's ahead of Knopfschneider, gliding through the water. And again, in lane 2, Haslaker for Bethany is in third, and in fourth is Abigail Hopkins. We see DeSalvo now starting to extend her lead just a little bit more, almost a length lead over Knopfschneider. We're at about 2 minutes and 24 seconds on that turn, so almost in the halfway mark of this event. I believe, if my math is correct and my memory is correct, it's 16 turns for this event. We're at turn 9, so believe that's slightly over halfway. Looking at my math expert, John Sape, who's tweaking his beard. Don't know if he's pondering or directing, but I don't know if the math's going to work out. You'll get to hear him tomorrow on the call for California versus Seton Hill men's game at 3 o'clock. And the call for the women's game at 1 will be Hunter Garman. Good crew going tomorrow. J.J. Robinson, myself, James Anderson, Nate Kurtz. So if you're going to the game at Greensburg tomorrow, come say hi to us on the track where we're set up. So In lane 3 on the 11th turn, DeSalvo lengthening. So it'll be DeSalvo in first, Knopfschneider in second, Abigail Hopkins, not Abigail Hopkins, Jordan Haslacker in lane 2 will be in third, and then Abigail Hopkins in lane 5. As I stood up, lane 5 obscured by the bar in front of me, so I missed her for a few seconds. Is now in lane 3. JoJo DeSalvo is going to be on her 13th turn of the event, starting to lengthen her lead, as that was a turn at about 3 minutes and 54 seconds. And a good pace to her race right now. Doesn't look like she's pushing at all, just a nice smooth tempo, trying to get her heart rate and her everything in rhythm, and again, just gliding through the water and extending that lead. Made that turn at about 4:12. So it'll be DeSalvo in first, Knopfschneider in second, Haslacker in third, and Abigail Hopkins for Salem in fourth. And that's going to be a good race to see who gets third and fourth, as it looks like Haslacker has a little bit of a lead, but Hopkins trying to come on strong, as now we have DeSalvo now about ready to lap Haslacker. And this, I believe, is the final turn. Might be 18 turns since we see a 17. Math is hard, people, and I've never been good at it, so I apologize. But DeSalvo in complete control. This has about a half a pole length lead over her nearest competitor, Ariel Kopfschneider of Bethany. And again, this will be the last one, so it's 18 turns as we see the air horn brought into play. And DeSalvo trying to kick it into another gear to try and lower her time by a few tenths of a second if she can. So DeSalvo for Salem will be in first. The race for second looks like it'll be Knopfschneider and then Haslacker and Hopkins. Looks like Haslacker will finish third and then Hopkins will finish fourth. So at about 6:03, JoJo DeSalvo will finish first. Coming into lane 4, finishing second, will be Ariel Knopfschneider of Bethany. A good 6:17 time for her. And then it will be Jordan Haslacker for Bethany finishing third as she makes her final turn. And then Abigail Hopkins, about a half a pole length behind her, will make her final turn here in a second. So as we have quickly moving to the start line, a gaggle of swimmers. Now we have, again, Abigail Hopkins for Salem finishing fourth. Her teammate will finish first in that heat. So right at the 7-minute mark for that event. So all 4 competitors have finished, and we're getting ready to go to the next heat, the next final. And as they take their cool down, we will go through the competitors of heat number 3. Once again, the PSAC qualifying mark, 5 minutes, 28 seconds, and 55 tenths. In lane 1, Bella Longmire of California. In lane 2, Amanda Sostek of Frostburg. In lane 3, Maddie Moretti from California. In lane 4, Ashley Ellsworth from Frostburg. In lane 5, Adeline McCusker from California. And in lane 6, Peyton Wagner, also from California. And I believe, if I'm reading this correctly, Moretti and Ellsworth have already, in previous meets, reached the PSAC qualifying time. So expect another good swim out of the middle of these lanes for the California Vulcans. Excuse me. Moretti's the only Vulcan, so Ellsworth would have reached it, but she is for Frostburg. I'm sorry there. So we're off And everybody on the first turn about neck and neck, although I believe Moretti might be just a little bit in the lead for California. California wearing the bright red swim caps. Hex code E1221A if you'd like to recreate the color of the California Vulcan red. Moretti now for California. On her next turn, her third turn. Extends her lead just a little bit over Ellsworth. Again, if I'm reading these correctly, Moretti has the best time out of anybody in this pool this year, or in the pool right now this year, in this final at 5:14.08. So expect a fast swim from her. And Ellsworth, her best was 5:23.15. So Moretti for California. Big turn and big kick. Extending her lead. And again, doesn't look like she's doing anything crazy, just a good, smooth rhythm and tempo going through the water at the near lane marker, trying to catch a little bit of a draft from her competitors in either other lane. So going inside, outside, and she's extending. And our time on our unofficial clock is about 8 seconds off, as I neglected to start it on time as I was reading the names. My apologies. So Moretti now trying to see where she will be on this turn as she hits the wall at around 2 minutes and 8 seconds. Again, with 6 competitors, they don't have the time on at all times, so they need lane 1 for the split, so try and get you those as best we can. But Moretti in first. Looks like lane 4's Ashley Ellsworth in second. Lane 2's Amanda Sustek for Frostberg in third. And then lane 5, California, Peyton Wagner. And in lane 1, Bella Longmore. But this is Moretti's race to lose, as she is steadily extending her lead over her nearest competitor, Ashley Ellsworth, in lane 4. So it goes California, Frostberg, and then California. As Moretti slowly starting to build almost a half a pool length lead. The next event will be the men's 500-yard free. There'll be 6 competitors in that, and then there will be our first break of the day. And then after that, it gets crazy with sprints and some relays, and you're not going to want to miss that. Like, usually in these events, the longer events go first. You get a little bit of a break, and then you'll see some fast swimming out there for the shorter sprint event. So it'll be fun to watch. So stick around. But stick around for this to see if Maddie Moretti will improve on her best time so far. Made the turn there. That was a split of about 33.71, so her splits have been about 31.9 if I remember, and about 33.7, so she's in the sweet spot right there. So we're about 4 minutes into the event. Turn 15 for Moretti. And she just keeps putting the hammer down. Ellsworth for Frostberg putting up a good fight in lane 4, but I really don't think there's any way of catching her right now, barring something crazy happening. Moretti split there, 33.66. She'll make turn number 17. And the official with the horn will go and greet her with the final lap horn. And she is blazing fast right now. Going to see what her time is on this split. That was a 33.17, so she improved a little bit on that time. So Maddie Moretti will win this event for California. In second place right now is Ashley Ellsworth. And it looks like we got a fight in lane 5 and 2 between California and Frostberg. Looks like California's Adeline McCusker is in third right now, but Maddie Moretti may have a full pull-length lead as she will try and finish up at 5:12. Maddie Moretti, I believe that is her first or her personal best right now. A blazing fast speed for her, so congratulations to Maddie Moretti. In second will be Ashley Ellsworth of Frostburg. In third will be Amanda Sustek of Frostburg. And in lane 1, Bella Longmire. No, actually, sorry, I think the official time was 5:27:30 for Maddie Moretti, as I looked up wrong, but still that would get her the PSAC qualifying mark. So tremendous race for Maddie Moretti for California. So Moretti, Ellsworth, McClusker, Sustek, Longmire, and Wagner will round out the field for that. So as we move into the final 500-yard freestyle, this will be the last one before our first break. This is a men's event. There'll be 6 competitors. In lane 1, Jaden Tipton of Frostburg. Lane 2, Alex Witten of Frostburg. Lane 3, Alvaro Arguella Moreno of Salem. Lane 4, Jack Bond of Frostburg. Lane 5, James Fenner of Salem. And in lane 6, Nate Schwartz, not Nate Kurtz, of Frostburg in lane 6. So we're awaiting the start. And just admonishing one of the swimmers. And we're off. Again, this is event number 6 of 17, so we will have a break after this and then a lot of sprints and a lot of fun coming in the next segment. We'll go from events 7 to 12 and then a final break and then our last couple events. So if you've never been to a swim meet, it moves pretty quickly. And again, got some great athletics going on here, and it is about 50 degrees warmer here in the Natatorium than it is outside. So leading this event in lane 3 is Arguello Moreno of Salem. In second will be lane 4, Jack Bond. And it looks like the rest of the field is pretty even, but lane 3's Alvaro Aguera Moreno is just slowly starting to, shouldn't even say slowly, he's out like a rocket, starting to extend his lead. Although, as soon as I say that, it looks like Jack Bond from Frostburg is starting to try and cut into that lead. And again, as California does not have a men's swim program, I do not have what the qualifying marks would be for each athlete's respective conferences here. So feel free to go to the MEC or the PAC or Salem's website, although there are no PAC swimmers here, so just go to either the MEC or Salem directly to see what their events are. But Salem swimmer Aguera Moreno, I got a note from our director of sports communication, Matt Kiefer, earlier that several members of the Salem swim team also double dip, so to speak, in terms of athletics on their men's water polo team. So definitely I can see one discipline helping the other. But now a big lead for Aguera Moreno. In second will be Jack Bond, and then trying to see who's going to make the turn in third. It looks like lane 5 will be in third, James Fenner, but this is Salem's event to lose here in lane 3. About a half a pull length lead over Jack Bond, the nearest competitor. Aguera Moreno's best time this year has been 4:54.46. Jack Bond's 4:55.16, but looks like Aguera Moreno is putting it into another gear here from the Hamer Natatorium. So lane 3 in first place at turn number 7 turns left, as it appears that they are counting down in lane 3 instead of counting up. So going to make my best not to look at there and get my math incorrect. But we're going to try and see what the split time is here for Alvaro Aguirre Moreno, 18-year-old from swimming for Salem in West Virginia. 3:11.84. Aguero really starting to extend once again. And you can really see in this heat or this final where you have a lot of separation between the beginning of the lead pack and the second chase pack, if you will. Bond doing everything he can, but he cannot cut into that lead at all for Aguirre Moreno, excuse me. 3 turns left for him. And we are at around 4:25 here in the event. As the official gives the horn to Aguirre Moreno. And he will take the big turn, and again, unless something crazy happens, he's going to win this heat in a very, very, very good time. It's going to be around 4:55, and a great swim for Alvaro Aguirre Moreno. It'll be Jack Bond for Frostberg in second place. And there's going to be a fight between lane 2 and lane 5. That's Witten and lane 6. Nate Swartz, I think, will be in third or fourth. Lane 2, lane 6, and then lane 5, and then 1. So great swim for Salem's Alvaro Moreno Aguirre. But that will bring us to the first of our intermissions here, our breaks here from the Hamer Natatorium. So stick with us. We're going to just have a graphic up for a little bit while we take a little bit of a break. You're watching the Winter Frenzy here from Hamer Natatorium. And welcome back as we're getting ready for the next event as we're after our break. It'll be the women's 100-yard breaststroke. And again, these are going to be a lot quicker than the first heat. So in this, the first half, Carrie Brooks of Salem in lane 2. In lane 3, Emma Warner. In lane 4, Ashlyn Hornick. In lane 5, Maya Metz. So if my math is correct, it should be 4 excursions up and down from the pool. Hornick in the lead for California. The time to look at for a PSAC qualifying mark is 1:11:27. I'd like to say hi to our good friend Colin Kirkwood, watching in an undisclosed location in central PA. And as I was looking at him saying hi to us, we have a new leader in the event, Carrie Brooks from Salem. She'll be in first, Hornick in second in lane 4, and then a battle between Emma Warner and Maya Metz in lanes 3 and 5, respectively. So making the turn is Salem. Carrie Brooks, Hornick making a big push underwater, coming up, and she's going to try and track her down as they're at about a half a pole length to go. But Carrie Brooks looks like she might be able to hold off Ashlyn Hornick for the win here at about 1:17. So she'll finish first. Hornick in second in lane 3. Looks like it'll be Emma Watson of California, and in lane 5, Maya Metz. So a very good swim for the 4 competitors as they do their cool down lap as we get ready for final number 2 of the women's 100-yard breaststroke. We have 6 competitors in this. Madison Hooper of Frostburg, Megan Keegan of Frostburg, Natasha Pisello of Frostburg, and then California in the bottom 3 lanes, Autumn Krisner, Adeline McCusker, and Emily Guffey. I'd like again to thank our crew here at the end of winter break, J.J. Robinson and Crystal Anderson on camera, John Sape directing, the Belgian philosopher Zoe Belknap doing the clock, Coach Noah Mitchell doing some scouting. We're trying to get Noah and John Sape to do a 50-yard backstroke for charity, so keep watching CTV Sports for updates on that. So as we come to the second final, again, California athletes in the bottom 3 lanes of the pool, top 3 Frostburg. And much like the first final of this discipline, a pretty much packed group at the top. Looks like lane 4 will have the lead, Autumn Krisner of California. California, the 3 red caps at the bottom. Frostburg with 2 black caps at the top and then a red cap in lane 3. But California's Autumn Krisner extending her lead a little bit. So it's Krisner, then Pisello, and then I believe maybe lane 6, Emily Guffey. But right now it looks like it's Krisner and everybody else pretty even as they're going to come to the final turn here. Big push up from the blocks for Krisner, and Krisner, she'll be the first up out of the water, trying to fight for the first place. Again, the time to look at to qualify, 1:11:27. We're at 1:06. This is going to be close as Autumn Krisner will touch the wall first for California, and then the athlete from Frostburg, Natasha Pisello, I believe, will be in second, yes. And third place will go to Adeline McCusker. Fourth place will go to Megan Keegan. Fifth place will go to Madison Hooper. And sixth place will go to Emily Guffey. But to tell you how fast that event was and how close they were, the winning time was 1:11:79, and the sixth place was 1:13:45. So a very good grouping. But I believe everybody for California, looks like not sure if anybody would qualify. I'm looking at my notes here. Would have qualified from this one, but it looks like Krisner and McCusker have already previously qualified. But again, you can always go to calvulcans.com. Our good friend Matt Kiefer keeping everything up to date, so you can look back and see who has qualified and who hasn't. As we're going to move into the men's 100-yard breaststroke, there are 2 finals here. This one is basically an intramural event with Frostburg because you have all three competitors from the Bobcats. In lane 2, PJ Emmerich. Lane 3, Andrew Weatherholt. And lane 4, Dylan King. And there's the start. I'm not sure how much scouting there is in swimming, but you would think these three teammates know each other very well. And coming up in the lead will be lane 2, PJ Emmerich. Emmerich now extending his lead a little bit. He makes the turn, last trip up and back. So it'll be lanes 2, 3, and 4 in that order. Emmerich, Weatherholt, and Dylan King. Again, this is event 8 of 17. So if you watch the first half, the middle third is going to go much quicker as the events are a lot shorter. So making the turn and in first place, PJ Emmerich will come to the wall. It's just a matter of which of his teammates will finish second. So Emmerich at 1:02 approximately, and then lane 4, Dylan King, and then in third place will be Andrew Weatherholt. And again, all three of those competitors were within tenths of seconds of one another. So a good, strong swim between the teammates. Now, this is where it's going to get a little crazy for all of us, as this event will have 6 competitors. Again, it is the final of the men's 100-yard breaststroke. Heat 2 of 2. In lane 1 from Bethany, Paco Ramirez. In lane 2 from Salem, Veer Kassan. In lane 3 from Frostburg, Tave Chatalavong. Lane 4, Dylan De La Vega. Lane 5, Ganalico Silva. And in lane 6, Connor McDonald. So expect a very fast event here if the first men's 100 was any indication, as the athletes are on the blocks. In California not having a men's swim program, I'm not sure what the qualifying marks would be for their respective conferences, and they're in the water. And in lane 3, Tave Chalavong pretty much went the entire 3/4 of the pool before he popped up. So that is a strong start for the athlete from Frostburg. So pops out of the pool, and he is on a tear right now for the Bobcats. Has about a full body length lead as he's about ready to make his final up and back. And this kind of tells you how fast the top 3 competitors are, as the bottom 3 in this heat are kind of being left in the dust. You don't normally see that in the sprints, but the 3 competitors, Chalavong in lane 3, Veer Kassan in lane 2, and Dylan De La Vega in lane 4 are just putting on a clinic. But it is going to be Tave Chalavong will be the winner here in this, finishing second at a strong kick at the wall. Veer Kassan in third will be Dylan De La Vega. And waiting to see where the rest of the competitors are. Looks like in fourth will be lane 5, Granala Silva. And slowly finishing up here is lanes 1 and 6 for Bethany, Paco Ramirez and Connor McDonald. The heat just a little too fast for them, but a great swim by Frostburg's Tave Chalavong, as we're going to switch quickly into 3 finals of the women's 50-yard freestyle, in which this will be a very fast up and back event. In the first final, Mackenzie Payne of Frostburg, Delaney Woodward from Salem, and Kendall Hooper of Frostburg in lanes 2, 3, and 4. For reference, the qualifying mark for the PSAC in this event is 25.64, so very fast. So basically, this is a down and back race. And Kendall Hooper is ready to go, and I'm wondering if maybe there were 2 scratches, as Kendall Hooper is the only athlete on the blocks, and it appears that it'll be a free run for Kendall Hooper. So not sure why Mackenzie Payne and Delaney Woodward are not in this event, but A little bit of a training run for Kendall Hooper. And I'd be willing to bet all of my money that the winner of this final, heat 1 of 3, will be Kendall Hooper. It's just a matter of what her time will be. A pretty quick time for Kendall, about 26:03, exactly 26:03. So, and I give her credit because it's tough to race without anybody on either side of you. So Kendall Hooper, 26:03, she gets out of the pool and quickly heat 2 of 3 of the finals. We have a full field of 6. In lane 1, starting top to bottom, Avery Studevant from Salem, then Bella Longmore from Cal, Sammy Sims from Cal, Peyton Wagner from Cal, Julian Hump from Bethany, and Emily Powers from Salem. Again, the time to look at for the PSAC qualifying mark for Cal, 25:64, and a strong start. Water being churned up behind them. And a good start for the athlete in lane 4, Peyton Wagner. Peyton Wagner for California in the lead. But a whole host of swimmers behind her as she's going to look to try and hang on. It's between Peyton Wagner and Bella Longmire. Who will it be? It looks like Bella Longmire will come in first. Lane 4, 28:26. Peyton Wagner. Lane 2, 28:42, and then lane 3, 28:78, and so an incredibly fast time there. So lane 4, Peyton Wagner in first. Lane 2, Bella Longmire. In lane 5, Julian Hump from Salem. So does not appear that anyone will meet the PSAC qualifying mark from California in that heat, as we're quickly going to move into the final of 3 finals of this discipline. In lane 1, Carly Glasser from Cal. In lane 2, Abby McCauley from Frostburg. In lane 3, Reagan Chase from Frostburg. In lane 4, Cheyenne Road from Salem. Courtney Rapens from Salem, and Lacey Noble from California in lane 6. So, again, these are quick up and back events. The time to look at, 25:64. A big start. So California having athletes at lane 1 and lane 6, bracketed by 4 competitors from other schools. Lane 4 and lane 3, and then lane 1. So that's Cheyenne Road of Salem. And Road with a strong swim, trying to pull everybody to the finish. And it will be Cheyenne Road of Salem in lane 4. And then I believe Reagan Chase. So yes, Reagan Chase in lane 3 was second. Carly Glasser for California in lane 1 was third. Looks like we had a tie for third between Glasser and Courtney Rapens at dueling 27-26 times. And in lane 6, in 5th place, Lacey Noble. So a tie in there as we move quickly to 1 of 2 finals in the men's 50-yard freestyle. Again, these are up and back. So in lane 2, Sean O'Connor from Frostburg. In lane 3, Zeke Cummings from Frostburg. And in lane 4, Isaiah Heverling from Bethany. And if you're playing the name game, the best names of athletes, the other night against Slippery Rock, California faced a man by the name of Omeech Williams. So Omeech is the leader in the clubhouse for crazy names, although Isaiah Heverling is a strong name in lane 4. So again, this should be pretty quick. Up and back. I believe these are the shortest of the events today. And they are. Big turn by lane 3, Zeke Cummings. But now being caught on the outside is Sean O'Connor. It's between O'Connor and Cummings. It looks like Sean O'Connor from Frostburg will be first, and then his teammate Zeke Cummings, and then in lane 4 in third, Isaiah Heverling. So 24-25, 24-37. So basically a half a heartbeat between the two. So they will quickly exit the pool. And moving on of heat 2 of 2 of this men's 50-yard freestyle will be in lane 2, Mikkel LeBlanc from Frostburg. In lane 3, Tori Reynolds from Frostburg. In lane 4, Marco Ziliovic from Salem. And In lane 5, Ivan Ziliovic. So again, expect a pretty quick up and back. And after this, it kind of slows down a little bit with 200-yard events, but these are the quickest sprints of the day. So the athletes are on their mark. And a big start. It looks like lane 3, Tori Reynolds out very quickly. And he will hit the wall first on the far end of the pour. So Tori Reynolds and Mikel LeBlanc. Looks like Reynolds now trying to hold off Marko Zilovic. But it will be Tori Reynolds, I'm pretty comfortable to say, but it's a quick event. 22:60, 22:89, 23:03, and then 24:39. So not a lot of time separating the 4 athletes. So a good race between the 4, but Tori Reynolds with the win. And we move quickly to the women's 200-yard backstroke. So there are 2 finals here. In the first final, in lane 2, Liv Zielinski from Cal. In lane 3, Ariel Knopfschneider from Bethany. In lane 4, Cara Tunney from California. And in lane 5, Emily Green from California. So this will be 4 lengths of the pole. Again, there are 2 finals here as the officials are waiting for the 50-meter. I thought JJ was taking a selfie between us. He is now. Thank you. So the competitors will get in the pool for the start of this 200-yard backstroke. So you have California in lanes 2, 4, and 5, bracketed by Bethany's Ariel Knopfschneider. So again, the time to look at for PSAC qualifying is 2:16:28. Again, this is one of 2 finals in this event. This one has 4 competitors, and the next one will have 6 competitors. California's Tunney will be in first in lane 4. And then everyone else kind of even. Emily Green for California stayed under a long time. A good strong kick on the turn for her. Bowie Tunney in lane 4. So the first 100 is done. She'll go back for her. No, it should be 8. It should be 8 laps, not 4. Again, math is not my first language. I was wondering why no one was getting excited there on that turn. So big turn, lane 4 for California. Then second place, Knopfschneider for Bethany in lane 3. A little slower pace here in the middle part of this race, and it looks like now Knopfschneider pulling into a little bit of a lead over the California swimmers. Makes a big turn. So first half of the race is done, moving into the last 4 laps. Knopfschneider in lane 3. Tunney in lane 4, and then looks like lane 2, Slavinsky for California will be in third. But lengthening the lead just a little bit will be Ariel Knopfschneider of Bethany. Her seed time coming into this was 2 minutes, 26:88. So all the competitors looking on their seed times look like they're a little off of the PSAC qualifying mark. So I think that Heat 2 of 2 might be a little quicker, as it looks like Heat 2 has a lot of low 210s to high 210s. So lane 3, Ariel Knopfschneider will continue to lead with Tunney for California in second. But Knopfschneider just slowly starting to pull away here. Nice smooth run for her. And she will pull into port at about 2:32. Second place will be for California's Cara Tunney in lane 4. And then up in lane 2, Liv Zielinski. And in lane 5, Emily Green. So That is the end of heat 1 of 2 here in the women's 200-yard backstroke, as they will take their cool-down lap as competitors for final 2 of 2 of this women's 200. All California and Frostburg competitors in this. In lane 1 for Frostburg, Kay Berman. In lane 2, Antonio Giorgietta for California. Berman from Frostburg in lane 1, Giorgietta in lane 2. Jamie Meadows from Frostburg in lane 3. In lane 4, Lydia Naballo from Frostburg. And then for California, for Frostburg, Gabriella Betancourt. And then Emily Guffey for California in lane 6. So California's athletes are in lanes 2 and 6. Again, the time to look at 2:16:28. As the officials getting ready to call it. After this is the men's 200-yard backstroke, and then our second break of the afternoon, and then we will have the last few events after that. All the athletes are on the block. Strong start from all the competitors. Coming up out of the wire first in lane 4 is Lydia Naballo. Her seed time coming into this was 2:13.80, so very fast. The best seed time in this event is Jamie Meadows, 2:11.34. Once again for the PSA seed time, 2:16.28. So 8 laps here will get you to 200. And it looks like it might be California's Antonio Giorgietta in lane 2. Well, it's a virtual tie between lane 2 and lane 4. So Giorgietta and Naballo for Frostburg. So a clump of 4 about to make the turn on the far end of the pool. Spacing out a little bit is Naballo from Frostburg in lane 4. A little bit quicker pace than we saw in the first of these finals. A big turn. Now you have a fight for second place between Giorgietta and Meadows. So first half of the race is done. Moving on to the second half. Naballo slowly starting to pull away a little bit, and I think pulling her teammate Meadows into second place. And that is exactly what's happened. So it'll be Frostburg, and then California as they make the turn on the far side. Naballo in lane 4. Again, coming into this, she was at 2:13.80 for her seed time. It looks like now you have Frostburg in 1, 2, and 3 spots as Berman in lane 1 may have pulled slightly ahead of California's Antonio Giorgietta. But this is lane 4's race. Lydia Naballo is in lane 6. Emily Guffey making her turn. Getting encouragement from her teammates and head coach April Gitson right below us on the pool deck. You might be able to see them there on the camera shot. But Naballo has come to the finish line in first. So it's Frostburg 1, 2, and 3. Naballo, Meadows, and Berman, and then Giorgietta, and then it'll be Emily Guffey. And then, Betancourt was in there too, I'm sorry. But a Frostburg sweep 1, 2, and 3 is now as we're going to get set after the cool-down lap. The last event of this segment, the men's 200-yard backstroke. So after this, we'll take another short break. There will be 4 competitors in this event. In lane 2 will be Paco Ramirez from Bethany. And then Frostburg. So Braden Norris, Josh Horner, and Joshua Stokes in lanes 3, 4, and 5. Again, not sure what the qualifying times are. So the lone bison in the pool will be Paco Ramirez trying to fight off 3 Bobcats. As the officials and everybody wait for the athletes to clear the far end of the pool. And it looks like we're just about ready here. There's the several whistles from the FAR official. So again, this will be 8 laps. 3 Frostburg State athletes and 1 Bethany athlete. Best seed time coming into this event is in lane 3 with Braden Norris at a 1:56.84. And big start from Josh Horner from Frostburg in lane 4. Came all the way out of the pool in that launch. And usually the first turn has been very close for all the athletes in this event, and the same here. Looks like it might be Braden Norris in first in lane 3, and in fact it is. Gaining a lot of pull length on that second leg. Big kick, about a length lead over his teammate Josh Horner in lane 4. And it's Frostburg in 1, 2, and 3, and Bethany in lane 2 in 4th. So Norris still in first, although his 2 teammates in lanes 4 and 5, Horner and Strokes, are trying to stay in touch with their teammate. But this looks like to be a good pace for Braden Norris. Makes the turn. About 102 on that turn, if I caught the clock correctly. Now making a run for it is Joshua Stokes in the near lane. He will move slightly into second place and gaining on the leader, Brandon Norris. But just as I say that, Norris tries to put it into another gear. And a virtual tie in second here between Horner and Stokes. Both chasing Braden Norris. Paco Ramirez now for Bethany making his last turn. But Braden Norris now fending off some challenges from his teammates will make the turn and should be able to finish this off going away. And in fact, it will be Braden Norris coming to the wall at around 2:10 in first. His teammate Joshua Stokes in lane 5 in second. His other teammate Josh Horner in lane 4 and third, and rounding out the quartet, Paco Ramirez. So with that brings us to another break in the action. We'll be back. You're watching the Winter Frenzy from the Hamer Natatorium. We'll be back in a few minutes. And welcome back to the Vulcan swim meet today, Winter Frenzy. Just had a visit from our sports information guru, Matt Kiefer, and his young son, Luca, who I think we're going to try and get Matt in the pool by the end of the day. But first, we have some swimming to do here as we have heat 1 of 4 of the women's 100-yard freestyle. Only 2 competitors in this. There were supposed to be 3, but only 2 are here competing right now. In lane 3, Kendall Hooper for Frostburg and Reagan Chase in lane number 4. So Hooper, 21-year from Frostburg, Maryland. Well, swimming for Frostburg. Don't know where she's from. Does not say on the sheet. A very quick first half of this freestyle. And she will make the turn. The last turn of this event, I believe. We're in event 13 of 17, a couple heats in each, finishing up with 2 400-meter relays for the men and the women. But Kendall Hooper, the winner of that event. She was under a minute, but I'm trying to see when they put the time up there. I don't know if they have it up there yet. 55:53 was her time, so a great swim by Kendall Hooper. Now as we move into heat 2 of 4, there are 4 competitors. In lane 2, Abigail Hopkins for Salem. For California, Sammy Sims in lane 3. In lane 4, Avery Sturdivant from Salem. And in lane 5, Maya Metz from Bethany. So 1 Vulcan, 2 Tigers, and 1 Bison. So the qualifying time for the PSAC will be 56:24. Getting ready for this 100 freestyle, so it's 4 laps. Good start. Looked like possibly Sammy Sims for California was the first swimmer off the blocks. And it'll be Sims and Sturdivant for Salem making the turn. Sims in the lead right now. Sammy Sims out to a good first half of the race, 50 yards in. She will make the third turn in the lead. Too close to tell between lanes 2 and 4, but Sammy Sims for California having a nice swim. Her seed time was 1:06:07, so can definitely get it done. Sims in first. Looks like lane 2, Abigail Hopkins in second, and it will be Hopkins in second, followed by Sturdivant and Maya Metz. But this is Sammy Sims' race right now for California, so a great job for the Vulcan. Sammy Sims just crossing the minute mark, so she won't get the PSAC qualifying mark, but she will get a win for her team and a great swim for her. Lane 2's Abigail Hopkins, lane 4's Avery Sturdivant, and lane 5's Maya Metz round out the event. So as they do their cool down lap, we have 6 swimmers in this next heat. JoJo DeSalvo in lane 1 from Salem. In lane 2 from Salem, Emily Powers. In lane 3 from California, Carly Glasser. In lane 4 from Salem, Courtney Rapens. In lane 5 from California, Liv Savilinski. And in lane 6 from Bethany, Jordan Haslacker. And it sounds like our camera people can hear each other because batteries died at some point. So crack staff on it. John, Zoe, JJ, and Crystal not missing a beat. Your announcer, on the other hand, has missed several beats and has started coughing, and we are out of Micanites and Coca-Cola, so it's touch and go whether we can finish this event. But we'll do what we can. So this is heat 3 of 4 final. Carly Glasser in lane 3 for California was off the blocks first, followed by JoJo DeSalvo up in lane 1. See who makes the turn first. 100 yards, so it's four lengths of the pool. Looks like lane 4 might be coming up. Courtney Rapens and Carly Glazer will be fighting for first place as they hit the halfway mark. And it's a virtual dead heat. Looks like California might have a several tenths lead. But this is going to be a fantastic finish between Carly Glassers and Courtney Rapins as they're going to make the final turn on the far wall. Again, too close to call. But it's Rapins and Glasser right next to each other in the middle lanes. Glasser's giving it everything she can, trying. It's going to come all down to the final touch. Who outreach who? And it will be California's Carly Glasser, 3:20. And in second place, 3:7. I don't know what we got going on here. I can't read this here. So in first place was lane 3, Carly Glasser. Oh, excuse me, that was the split. 58.64, 58.78. So not able to hit the qualifying mark was Carly Glasser, but a heck of a race there to outtouch her competitor by about 12/100ths of a second. Finishing third was lane 1's JoJo DeSalvo. Finishing fourth was lane 6, Jordan Haslacker. And fifth place was lane 5, Liv Slavinsky. And in sixth place was lane 4, Courtney Rapin. So heck of a race. For last two heats for California, or last two finals for California, great. Sammy Sims and Carly Glasser coming up big. And in this heat, or this final, you have several Vulcans in the pool. In lane 1, Mackenzie Hamilton. In lane 2, Maggie Moretti. In lane 3, Gabby Miller. In lane 4, Madison Hooper. In lane 5, Ashlyn Hornick. And in lane 6, Abby McCauley. So the California swimmers are Moretti, Miller, and Hornick. Again, 56.24 is the time to beat. Lane 3's Gabby Miller at the turn first. Followed by, I believe, Moretti for California. And maybe Hornick in lane 5 as they come through here. But it is Gabby Miller at the halfway mark. Big turn, big kick, and she's extending her lead. Looks like lane 4, Madison Hooper. And then it's a virtual tie for the next 3 spots. And then Abby McCauley for Frostburg in the near lane. But Gabby Miller for California, her seed time was 52.04, so she's already in the PSACs, just seeing if she can do something to maybe hit an NCAA mark right here, as she will come in at around 53 seconds. So a blazing fast race for Miller. And then it goes lane 2, Moretti and Hornick. I'd like to mention that our good friend Ashlyn Hornick in lane 5 from our friends at the Cal Times. So we've seen her a couple of times tonight, so it's great to see her in the pools. We usually just see her in the office, and there's no swimming pool in the office. So a great race by her as she finished in 5th, but only about a second and a half from second place. So, but Gabby Miller for California with a 53.57. Just a great event for her. And if you follow calvulcans.com and the swim pro, you know she's had a fantastic 2024, now a fantastic start to 2025 as the competitors will finish their final cool down lap. We have 2 men's 100-yard freestyles. In the first one, we have 3 competitors: Isaiah Heverling in lane 2 from Bethany, then Paco Ramirez in lane 3, and then Goncalo Silva in lane 4 from Salem. So the officials getting everybody in position. Paco Ramirez in lane 3 has the best seed time coming into this at 56.88. So all 3 competitors in the pool. So the top 2 lanes, Bethany, and the lower lane, Salem. And it looks like the Salem competitor, Giancarlo Silva, will hit the line or hit the wall first. Big turn. Edging out in front of Paco Ramirez. It looks like Ramirez now trying to get a late kick, but a good job of Silva holding him off as we reach the halfway point. Interesting that neither 2 competitors in lanes 4 and 3 doing a turn kick. They're going to the wall and pushing off, whereas lane 2, Heverling, is doing the turn. And it will be Goncalo Silva still in first, but coming up is Paco Ramirez. Ramirez now maybe taking a little bit of lead. This late kick by Ramirez, and he will get the win here. Paco Ramirez in a final kick stretch down the final 25 yards will get the win, followed by Giancarlo Silva, and Isaiah Heverling will finish third in lane 2. So very competitive event, but in lane 3, Paco Ramirez with a little over a 28-second split there. So just obliterating the competition and getting the win for his squad. So now heat 2 of 3 in this finals. We have 4 competitors. We have Ian Zavinovich in lane 2 from Salem, Mitchell Griffin in lane 3 from Salem, Connor McAllister from Salem in lane 4, and Connor McDonald in lane 5 from Bethany. And if I turn the page, that's all we have. So you have 3 Tigers and a Bison in the pool. Top 3 lanes Salem, bottom lane is Bethany. And the Bethany swimmer, Connor McDonald, in the lead. I will try everything not to call him Connor McDavid. But it's the other Connor McAllister, with the lead at the first turn of the event as they come to the halfway mark. 3 Salem swimmers are grouped together. But it looks like it will be McAllister in the lead at the halfway mark. Big turn, big kick. So McAllister, followed by Griffin and Zavelovich. And again, if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, I apologize. But coming down the final 25 yards will be Connor McAllister trying to hold off Mitchell Griffin, his teammate. But it looks like Connor McAllister will pull into first place, and he will, followed by his teammates Griffin and Zavelovich, and Connor McDonald in the near lane will take 4th place. So waiting to see what the final number was for that, as I can successfully put down one of my sheets. So 53:32 was your winning time as we go to the final of the men's 100-yard freestyle. This will have 6 competitors. Nate Schwartz in lane 1 from Frostburg, Tori Reynolds in lane 2 from Frostburg, Jaden Tipton from Frostburg in lane 3, Elias Maurer in lane 4 from Salem, Andrew Weatherholt from Frostburg in lane 5, and Nigel Webster in lane 6 from Frostburg. So Salem flanked by 5 Bobcats. The best seed time coming into here was Jaden Tipton at 48.41, followed closely by Elias Morrow. So watch the battle between lanes 3 and 4 as the officials wait. And here we go for 4 trips, up and back. Big spray from the competitors hit us up here on the camera deck, so that's the first time that's happened today. Felt good because it's 73 degrees and humid in here. Big turn for the leader, Elias Maurer from Salem. It's a tall swimmer, so it doesn't really look like he's going with a lot of speed, but a lot of power as he is slowly pulling away. The lone Tiger with the big turn, and he is pulling away, and this is a heck of a race for Elias Maurer from Salem, and he will be in first. Tori Reynolds looks like will be the 2nd place competitor up in lane 2 from Frostburg, and it will be in then lane 3, Jaden Tipton. So that is a heck of a race for Elias Maurer, looking up, waiting for the time to go up. But that split was 24:63. His time 48:49. Just a heck of a race for Salem. So that'll end event 14 as we move into event 15. 3 more events to go. Next 2 events, there's only 1 final. So this is the women's 200-yard butterfly, so 8 laps of the pool. Cara Tony from California in lane 2. Morgan Greenlee in lane 3 from Frostburg. Lacey Noble in lane 4 from California, and then Taylor Emmerich from Frostburg in lane 5. The time to look at for the PSAC, 2 minutes, 26 seconds, and 98. Best seed time right now would be Morgan Greenlee from Frostburg at 2:15. The best one for California in this heat is Lacey Noble at 2:26. Caratoni at 2:33, and then Taylor Emmerich does not have a seed time. So the competitors taking their marks. Again, 8 laps, 200-yard butterfly. California and Frostburg in this final. And Emmerich into the water first for Frostburg in the near lane, number 5. Again, 2:26.98 is the time. As it is Emmerich in first place. As I don't know if you saw it off the screen, but one of the men's swimmers almost fell into the pool trying to get into the locker room. So you always got to keep your eyes open at the Tamer Hall Natatorium. Never know when it's going to get you. Emmerich now, 2 laps in. Still in the lead. In lane 3, Morgan Greenlee, her teammate, in second. And then in third, Lacey Noble. And then Caratoni will be in fourth up in lane 2. Big turn here for Taylor Emmerich. Extends her lead over her teammate Morgan Greenlee in lane 3. After this will be the men's 200-yard butterfly, and then we finish up with 2 400-yard medley relays. And those should be exciting. Each swimmer doing 100 yards each. But we have a little bit of housekeeping to do before we get to that point. Emmerich in lane 4, still in the lead for Frostburg. Her teammate Greenlee in second. So Emmerich and Greenlee leading the duo of cow swimmers in lanes 4 and 2 respectively. The gap is closed now between lanes 5 and 3, but it is still slightly Taylor Emmerich. That split was 36.89 to 36.73, so Greenlee making up almost 2/100th of a second, or 2/10. Never really got the hang of the tenths and the hundredths either, so if somebody wants to come down here and explain it to us at CUT, we were always willing to learn about math and English and things of the world. The one thing I don't have to learn is who's in first place right now, because it's a virtual dead heat. Too close to call, as both swimmers will hit almost the exact same time as that comes down to the wire. And it will be lane 5 with the win. Taylor Emmerich ahead of her teammate in lane 3, Morgan Greenlee. So 2:21.96 for Emmerich to 2:22.25. So a very, very close race. In third place, Lacey Noble for Cal. And then Caratoni will be touching the wall right now for the Vulcan. So Frostburg State 1 and 2, California 3 and 4 as we move into the next event. We're into our final 3 events here from day 1 here at the Hamer Hall Natatorium. Again, once again, if you're watching us on CUTV Sports 1 or the PSAC Digital Network or CUTV on terrestrial cable or CUTV Cablecast, tune in tomorrow at 1 and 3 for California versus Seton Hill at the McKenna Center in Greensburg, Pennsylvania for a pretty big doubleheader. California, the women's team, coming off a 3-point win against Slippery Rock on Wednesday. Seton Hill is having a fantastic season. I believe they might be 14-2, 13-1, somewhere around there. So it will be a fun game to see if California's defense can slow down a high-pressure offense for the Griffins. Now we're going to move into the men's 200-yard butterfly, and then we'll preview the men's game after this. We have 4 competitors. In lane 2, Alvaro Aguero Moreno. In lane 3, Dylan King from Salem and Frostburg respectively. Then Braden Norris in lane 4 and Ivan Zavilovich in lane 5. Coming into this event, the best seed time of the quartet that's listed is Dylan King at 158.53. And while we have time, we'll just preview the men's game tomorrow. Both Seton Hill and California fighting for playoff spots. California coming off a big win against Slippery Rock on Wednesday, getting the offense on track. Seton Hill defeating Clarion. I believe that game was at Greensburg, so Seton Hill in a little bit of a two-game home stretch for the Griffins. But again, if you can't make the short trip to Greensburg, CTV has you covered. Got a good crew going tomorrow. John Sabe calling the first game. Hunter Garman calling the first game. John Sabe calling the second game. I'm calling this right now, and it's too close to call between lanes 4 and 3 as Braden Norris and Dylan King are going back and forth. But don't look now. Alvaro Aguera Moreno in lane 1 as asserting himself into the conversation. Makes the turn. And I believe it will be Aguera Moreno in lane 1. And now it's a fight between him and Dylan King. So this is a fun race right now. We've had a couple close ones, but this could be the closest of them all. As Aguera Moreno and King neck and neck. See who comes out of the water first, and it's neck and neck, too close to call. Both athletes putting the hammer down. In third is Braden Norris. Making, again, it's too close to call, though I think if I had to say, I think Aguera Moreno might have a slight lead over Dylan King as their teammates are on the pool deck trying to get them the victory. And indeed it is Alvaro Aguera Moreno in the lead, starting to stretch a little bit and look like in second place is Braden Norris trying to close the gap. Who will come down the stretch? It looks like Aguera Moreno, and it will be Aguera Moreno in first, followed by Braden Norris, Dylan King, and then Ivan Zavilovich from Salem will be in the final spot as he is slowly coming into port here. But a great race in lanes 2, 3, and 4. But now we move into some of the most exciting events you're going to see here at a swim meet, as you have finishing up with two events, the 400-yard medley relay. There are one heat for the women, one heat for the men. There are 6 lanes full of competitors for this event. In lane 1, Frostburg. In lane 2, Salem. In lane 3, Frostburg. In lane 4, Cal. In lane 5, Cal. In lane 6, I believe the Frostburg team, there will not be another Frostburg team, as they're not on the list anymore. But leading off will be Jamie Meadows for Frostburg in lane 1. Kiara Barnes leading off for Salem in lane 2. Gabriella Betancourt leading off for Frostburg in lane 3. Antonio Giorgetta in lane 4 for California, and then in lane 5, Emily Green will be leading off. So again, this is the 400-yard medley relay. So 4 laps for each of the competitors will make 400 yards. And I believe they will be starting with the backstroke. So the penultimate event of this Winter Frenzy event here from Hamer Natatorium. In the lead is lane 4's Antonio Giorgetta. Following her will be Autumn Christner, Gabby Miller, and Maddie Moretti. So Giorgetta will have the lead for California. And since this is a longer event, you could see some separation between the teams. But again, this is always exciting. Big turn there for Giorgetta in first, now being threatened by Jamie Meadows in lane 1. Giorgetta and Meadows. Looks like lane 3's Gabriella Betancourt, and then lane 2's Kiara Barnes are rounding out the top 4. And in 5th place will be Emily Green for California. Making the turn and out of the water first in lane 3 is Gabriella Betancourt, so holding a slight lead. Now looks like she's being supplanted by her teammate Jamie Meadows in lane 1, but it's awfully close as we get to the next part of the relay. Into the pool first in lane 1 is Jamie Meadows. For California in lane 4, Autumn Christner. In lane 2, Carrie Brooks, and then lane 4, Natasha Pacello.
Joining the conversation in lane 5 for California is Adeline McCusker. And now it looks like California is in the lead with Autumn Krisner. So Krisner erasing the little bit of a deficit the Vulcans had and trying to extend this lead. She will go into her last up and back in first, followed by Natasha Pacello for Frostburg. So slowly but surely, Autumn Krisner extending this a little bit of a lead, and looks like it's Frostburg in lane 3 in second and Frostburg in lane 1 in third. Waiting to take the next to last leg for California will be Gabby Miller. We've already seen her put on a pretty good show in her event earlier, primed and ready to go on the starting blocks. And Gabby Miller will be the first in the pool for this. A great start. She almost jumped clear underneath the flags here from the Natatorium. But Gabby Miller for California flying to the other end of the pool, makes her turn, being followed in lane 3 by Alexis Ramsey, and then lane 2's Cheyenne Road. But Gabby Miller is trying to give her anchor, Maddie Moretti, a sizable lead going into the final leg. So Miller, one more trip up and back for the Vulcans. Starting slowly to pull away from the second place Frostburg team with Alexis Ramsey. Miller now getting some encouragement from her teammates at the far end of the pool. Locked and loaded is Maddie Moretti, trying to get locked in right now from the pool deck. But Gabby Miller giving the Vulcans a little bit of breathing room. And the anchor leg for the Vulcans, Moretti, is in the pool, followed by the anchor for Frostburg, Lydia Naballo. So 3 turns left for California in the lead. Naballo trying to make up some ground, but Moretti is not letting her. This is a determined swim for the Vulcans. Maybe a little bit of a gain for Naballo, but Moretti making the turn. Naballo now a big kick off the near wall, and it's going to come down to the final. She is shot out of a cannon off of that. Moretti's going to need a good turn to hold her off for sure. She gets a good turn and pops up, and looks like she has a little bit more in the tank as she's maybe even extending the lead for the California Vulcans. And it will be California in lane 4 with the win here in the 400-yard medley relay, followed by Frostburg. Looks like it'll be Salem in lane 2, Frostburg in lane 1, and then California's second team in lane 5. But congratulations to the Vulcan relay team of Georgietta, Krisner, Miller, and Moretti, as that was a special race. Not sure what the official time was there. It is 4:14:45 to 4:16:42, so almost a 2-second win for the Vulcans. So congratulations to California winning the last women's event of the afternoon. As we move to the final event of the day, it'll be the men's 400-yard medley relay. So there'll be 4 teams. Frostburg in lane 2, Frostburg in lane 3, Salem in lane 4, and Frostburg in lane 5. So Bethany has, of course, I'm not sure if Bethany had any men's swimmers today, so it's been a long day here from the pool. Again, thank you for joining us here from the Hamer Natatorium. And again, tomorrow, the second day of this event will start at 11 o'clock here from Hamer Natatorium. CTV Sports 1 will be at Seton Hill for basketball, so if you want to see some more swimming, you're going to have to come to the Natatorium. But again, the weather in here is quite wonderful compared to what it has been outside. So as we're coming into the 400 medley relay, the final event of day 1. Again, 3 Frostburg State competitors or teams and 1 Salem team. So starting with the backstroke. Again, it's 4 lengths of the pool. And a good start. Looks like lane 2 for Frostburg, Josh Horner. Basically went halfway under the length of the pool on his start, so a very strong start for Horner. making the turn. So it's lane 2 and 3. So Frostberg now pulling out is Joshua Stokes to a little bit of a lead over his teammate. He has 2 lengths to go. A good swim as you have Frostberg in first, second, and third place. Salem in fourth. But it will be lane 3's Joshua Stokes extending in first place. Awaiting to get into the pool is Chanavong. And he's in with a nice start. And we will have the lead over his teammate PJ Emmerich. In third place will be Sean O'Connor. And in fourth place for Salem will be Veer Kassan. We saw Kassan have a very strong event when he swam earlier, so we'll see if he can make up some time on, if not the leaders, but third place. So we have lane 3 still in the lead with Chanavong now having the gap closed a little bit by his teammate PJ Emmerich. And indeed, Kassan is starting to take a little bit of a chunk out of the third place advantage by Sean O'Connor. But 2 groups here, the 2 Frostberg teams at the top, and then Frostberg and Salem as a next cluster. So we're getting to the last length of the pool for this part of the relay. Awaiting will be Andrew Weatherholt in lane 3, and he will take the pool first, and then Jack Bond in lane 2. And Kassan now in lane 4 has taken up third place for Salem. Now into the pool is Elias Marr, who we saw in his event fly through the pool, and quickly he is trying to get up this deficit in one fell swoop. Might be a tall task, but he's definitely flying right now. But lane 3, lane 2, in lane 4. And it looks like it might be Weatherholt extending the lead maybe slightly over his teammate Jack Bond. Marr now slowing a little bit, so I'm not sure if he'll be able to make any gains on second place, but he's definitely pulling ahead of third place. So we have our final 4 lengths of the pool here today. It'll be Jaden Tipton in lane 3. In lane 4, Mikel LeBlanc. Big lead for Tipton. In lane 4 now, Salem, Marko Zavinovic. And then in lane 5, Nigel Webster. So a very quick first half of his 100 yards is Jaden Tipton. Tipton pulling ahead of Mikel LeBlanc. Third place being extended is Zavilovic. I tell you what, give credit to Elias Moore taking a big chunk out of that deficit. Don't think they'll be able to get second place, but we'll be able to lock in third place. It's coming down the final stretch here, and it will be a win for Frostberg's relay in lane 3. Jaden Tipton will touch the wall first, followed by Mikel LeBlanc. And then in lane 3, Marko Zavilovic from Salem, and in lane 4 will be Nigel Webster for Frostberg. So that's it from day 1 from the Winter Frenzy. Thank you for joining us here on CTV Sports 1. Again, join us tomorrow at 1 and 3 for Vulcan basketball. The women tip off at 1 o'clock, the men around 3 o'clock from Greensburg. So for my crew of John Sape, Zoe Belknap, J.J. Robinson, and Crystal Anderson, I'd like to thank you for joining us tonight, and we'll see you tomorrow from Greensburg. You've been watching CTV Sports 1, the Winter Frenzy here from the Hamer Natatorium. Good night, everybody. All right, let's pack, stack, and rack.